Hey, what's up, zoners, and welcome to the earliest waiver wire show on the planet. Today, I am be going over all of the players on your waiver wire I think that you should pick up and how much you should spend on them. There is a wide receiver, fourth in the league in receiving touchdowns, man. The only wide receivers I have more, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jamar Chase, Terry McLaurin. This guy's available in 80% of leagues, for God's sakes, man. And now he's getting the targets over the last 3 weeks. Pick him up, maybe a league winner in your flex, dude. We have a running back that we can finally get excited about, all right? His coach was hyping him up after the game. His play hyped himself up. Holy shit, man. So we've been waiting for a running back for, weeks, dude. Weeks to care about. Last time it was a Steam. This guy is way more legit than that. So spend your left of your fab, man, on this guy. I've got all my notes typed out, but you got to hold on for 7 seconds. All right, quick heads up before we get into the wide receivers. This is an early waiver wire show. I'm shooting this at the halftime of the afternoon games, man. So I will be adding more players down in the comments, and please feel free to add players yourself, man. Waiver wire is super important, and this is a group effort. All right, first wide receiver, Nick Westbrook, iWord, 20% owned, man. So 80% available in your leagues, dude. 25% or whatever you have left, man. If you need a wide receiver, go pick up this guy. 3 receptions on 8 targets. That led the team. 61 yards. That led the team. He had 2 touchdowns this week. That's different because usually he only has 1. And I say that because he has had 1 touchdown in 6 of the last 7 games and then hit this 2 touchdown game. So a touchdown reception, dude, in 7 of the last 8 games. That is like literally the same as Amon-Ra St. Brown. 4th in reception touchdowns for wide receivers with 8. So he's got 8 receiving touchdowns. Who has more than that? Jamar Chase, St. Brown, and Terry McLaurin. That's it, dude. This guy's available on your waiver wire, for God's sakes, dude. Perfect flex if I've ever fucking seen one. He's versus Jacksonville week 14. That's a great matchup. They give up the 4th most fantasy points per game to wide receivers. Go pick this guy up. Start him in your flex next week. Next up, speaking of Jacksonville, Parker Washington. We used to talk about this guy as soon as Christian Kirk went down and Trevor Lawrence was still up. This guy was actually super targeted, man. 0.9% rostered, so available in 99% of leagues, man. 15% fab I'd spend on him. 6 receptions on 12 targets, man. 12 targets. I do expect Ingram to get more targets in the future. He was barely targeted today, and this guy is a slot wide receiver, so that's where those targets would go. But still, man, 12 targets, 103 yards. That led the team as well, and a touchdown versus Houston week 13. That is almost a 30% target share on the week, man, so we cannot ignore that. 3 or fewer receptions in each of Mac Jones's previous starts. So the only reason I like this guy is because he actually performed well with Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence was only in there for 10 passes? The rest was Mac Jones, and he was super targeted by Mac Jones as well. So pay attention to this at Tennessee week 14. That is a bad matchup for wide receivers, the 3rd fewest fantasy points per game. But you just saw what they did, dude. Tennessee's kind of rolling over as of late. Next up, Sterling Shepard. This game's going on right now. 4% owned, 10% of fab, man. If this guy performs like I think he might, Chris Godwin light, all right? Chris Godwin on a diet. Anyways, 10% fab I spent on him. 1 reception for 21 yards, leads the team. That was like in the first drive, man, versus Carolina week 13. The important thing is, though, he led the team with 7 targets and a 23.3% target share last week in Evans' first game back. So Evans already caught a touchdown, all right? But I think the person that will be getting maybe more targets will be Sterling Shepard, man. So a PPR flex catching balls from and he's going to be eating into Cade Otton's target share as well. I like Sterling Shepard for a PPR flex going forward versus Las Vegas week 14. They are middle of the road average versus fantasy wide receivers, 27.4 points per game given up. All right, next up, Calvin Austin, 1.5% own. I have to include this guy because he has caught touchdowns in back-to-back games, all right? 2 receptions on 2 targets, that's it. And 29 yards. Russell Wilson threw for 400 yards today. Holy shit, man. And this guy only got 29 yards and a touchdown versus Cincinnati week 13. 5.2% target share. That is terrible. He led the team in receiving yards last week in the snow game. That was kind of an outlier of a game. But still, back-to-back weeks with touchdowns. 3 touchdowns over the last 5 weeks versus Cleveland week 14. Dude, Cleveland's cornerbacks suck. 6th most fantasy points per game, 30.6 to wide receivers. This guy is the wide receiver 2 to own for Russell Wilson. The problem is it's all tight ends and running backs. Dude, they're throwing to 3 different running backs right now. So Calvin Austin is a wide receiver 2 for that team. More like a very low inflex for your fantasy team. Now, moving on. 2 running backs. First up, dude. This guy came out of nowhere. Sincere McCormick, available in every single league. Shout out to that one guy that owns him. 25% fab I would spend on him. I spend everything. If I need a running back, dude, I would be spending everything because this guy looks like he's going to be better than Gus Edwards. Gus Edwards didn't do shit today. 12 rushes, led the team. 64 yards, led the team. And that's 2 receptions versus Kansas City. So he's catching the ball, and he was efficient. I think it was Denver and Kansas City the last 2 weeks, dude. Like the worst 2 possible matchups for running backs, and he's actually looking good. 55% running back rushing share. That needs to be higher. Signed by the Raiders as an undrafted free agent 2 years ago, all right? 2 years ago. So this guy did come out of nowhere. Madison and Zamir still out. But hey, Antonio Pierce, go check it out. He's like, hey, McCormick came in and did exactly what we needed. Fresh legs, bouncing off of people. We were going to be giving him the ball. That's what he said. And Antonio Pierce usually does not lie. He does what he says he's going to do. At Tampa Bay, week 14, the 12th most fantasy points per game to running back. So, dude, I'm telling you, low end running back 2, maybe middle running back 2 next week, Sincere McCormick. Next up, Kamani Vidal. We're getting into the handcuffs right now, but hey, dude, J.K. Dobbins out on IR. This guy's available in 92% of leagues pretty much. 10% fab I spent on him. 4 rushes for 20 yards versus Atlanta. Well, dude, what's his name? Only got 6 rushes. So Gus Edwards, that's a 40% running back rushing share. If he gets that every week on this team, he should be startable in most leagues. J.K. Dobbins to IR, 6th round rookie. Again, most coaches that come out of college hit on their running backs and their wide receivers early. So I was expecting Kamani Vidal to do really well. And the first time he touched the ball was like a huge touchdown. But now he has the upside play. So Gus Edwards is, I guess, the plug and play for your low end running back too. But if you want to pick up Kamani Vidal for the upside, Jeremy McNichols. All right. This is kind of as a caveat on this because Chris Gonzalez actually did well. I need to go back and watch this game. Jeremy McNichols was getting the running back 2 carries here, which is actually super valuable in Washington. He's available in pretty much 90% of leagues, 5% I'd spend on him. Only 6 rushes for 32 yards. Chris Gonzalez, man, had like 10 for 80 yards and a touchdown. But it was a blowout from the very beginning. So I need to go back and see because you either want to own Chris Gonzalez or Jeremy McNichols here. Eckler on IR with a concussion. So for the next 4 weeks, 3 weeks, that's halfway through. I mean, that's 2 of your fantasy playoff weeks. You can start this guy. And Eckler, dude, running back 13 finish or better in each of the last 3 weeks. So that is the kind of stuff that we are chasing here. You could get a high-end running back 2 playing for Washington as a running back 2 there. So Jeremy McNichols or Chris Gonzalez, we need to look into see what happened here and pick up one of these guys by week 14. So you should be able to get him on the cheap. Let's see, 9th best, a pretty good strength of schedule rest of season. Khalil Herbert. All right, now we're getting almost, this is the last guy I'm going to talk about on running backs, and then I'm just going to go through the handcuffs real fast. But hey, I did notice this guy got a carry, man. So Chase Brown and that running back situation over there is super valuable. I kept on talking about Chase Brown being a league winner a couple weeks ago, like 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, and it has been happening, man. But he's been getting 100% of the running back rushing share, 100% of everything. This is the first time another running back got a carry, so Khalil Herbert is the new handcuff there. And then Estime, dude, one of a 3 running back clusterfuck. I don't know, dude. Cam Akers almost came in and dominated because Aaron Jones is a fumbling machine, but still he's the handcuff there. Ray Davis is a handcuff you want to own. Braylon Allen got a little bit more work. I like picking up Braylon Allen because Breece Hall is dealing with a knee injury, all right? And then Blake Corum, Kyron's the highest usage rate out of any running back, so Blake Corum would be a running back 1 without that. So a super high-end handcuff. And then Trey Benson, handcuff as well. On to the quarterbacks, man. Caleb Williams, 37% own. I pushed him before the season started. I felt like an asshole for a long time. 5% fab. Dude, so they changed. Offensive coordinators, running back coach came in there. I thought they'd be running the ball more. Guess what, dude? 39 attempts, all right? 39 plus passing attempts in each of the last 2 games, for God's sakes, dude. I think it was like 33 or something before that. So 3 touchdowns, 4 rushes for 39 yards. He's getting 33 plus rushing yards in each of those 3 games with the new offensive coordinator. He's averaging 23 fantasy points per game over those 3 games as well with the OC change. So, hey, dude, he's like he's like a wide receiver set or a quarterback 7, quarterback 8. He's a quarterback 1 for your team with the new system. Minnesota week 15. All right. So the first week of playoffs, that fool gets Minnesota. He had 28 points against him, just not this last week, but the week before that. So holy shit, dude. This guy is going to be killing it. At San Francisco week 14, 7th fewest fantasy points per game to quarterbacks, but still at San Francisco, the weather's not going to be bad. I do not mind that either. All right. So Caleb Williams becoming a starting quarterback for you with the OC change. Aiden O'Connell, I had to put him on here, man. I had to put him on here. 340 yards and 2 touchdowns. Holy shit. 0.8% rostered. I would not want to start him, but he gets Tampa Bay next week. Tampa Bay gives up the 3rd most fantasy points per game to quarterbacks. So that is a great matchup. And hey, dude, 35 attempts. That's amazing. And he targeted Bowers and Jacoby, 25 to 35 attempts. So he knows where to go with the ball. He looked pretty good. He was taking shots downfield. And if you're doing that, you're going to score points as a quarterback. Let's say Jameis Winston, dog. So yeah, that is the last quarterback. On to the tight ends. Noah Gray, okay. I still have to put him on here because he got 6 targets, 4 touchdowns in the 2 games before that, 2 touchdowns per. 7% rostered, 5% fab I spent on him versus Las Vegas. So we had 2 of the best tight end matchups over the last 2 weeks, and he did not do much with the second one. 4 touchdowns over the last 3 weeks versus the Chargers. They give it the 11th fewest fantasy points per game to tight ends. But again, dude, if you're like in a 2 tight end league or if you're desperate for a touchdown play for tight ends, I do not think that is a bad idea. Hollywood Brown's not coming back till week 16, week 17. I just read that. Luke Schoonmaker, all right? This guy's amazing when he plays. 11% owned, 5% whatever. 6 targets, 33 yards versus New York Giants week 13. Ferguson out with a concussion, 2nd round draft pick. Hey, man, if Ferguson is not playing, this guy is getting targets in this offense. Man, he got targeted more than CeeDee Lamb, I think. He gets Cincinnati week 14. 4th most fantasy points per game to tight ends. An amazing matchup next week. And hey, Cincinnati hangs up points on anybody. They will be playing catch up big time. If Ferguson is out, dude, I like Luke Schoonmaker as a tight end 1 next week. All right, everybody, that is the show. Thank you so much for watching. If you actually did like this show, man, don't lie to yourself. Please give me a thumbs up because that will send me out or give me the potential to be sent out to much more people. And that's exactly what this show needs right now. Hopefully I did earn that thumbs up. Hopefully I earned a subscription, man. We need subscribers. Please help us out. That would be amazing. That's the only way this show is going to grow to something big. Maybe. Anyways, hey, remember, add players that I did not cover and come back to see what players are added. All right? Because we need all the help we can get, man. I'm fighting for my fantasy life over here. I'm just trying to make playoffs. Probably just like you, okay? This is Tyler, Big Turd Ward. This is the Fantasy Red Zone, and we appreciate you.